Safo over claims that she voted against Professor Mike Okoye as Speaker.
Minister for Health Kwabena Mintah-Kando announces government will clear all outstanding salary arrears owed to nurses and midwives by November.
And later in business, Chamber of Agribusiness says Ghana could quadruple cocoa revenue if government halts raw beans exports and invests in local processing.
On the foreign front, families of the last 20 living hostages held by Hamas in Gaza share their joy and relief at their return to Israel after 2 years in captivity. Well, the details of these and many more stories, including sports and entertainment, coming up over the next 1 hour. Stay with us.
Right, we're starting from the courts because a lot has happened in the last 12 hours and counting. So, former executive director of the National Service Authority, together with his deputy, Gifty Oware-Mensah, are facing multiple charges, including stealing, causing financial loss to the state, and using public office for profit for allegedly orchestrating a 38.4 million Ghana cedi fraud involving ghost names and fake hire purchase loans through the National Service Authority's marketplace platform. The charge sheet filed by the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayine, on Monday, the 13th of October, also lists 14 counts of offences, including stealing, causing financial loss to the state, and money laundering against the former executive director, Osei Asibe-Entwi. Per the charge sheet, the former NSA boss allegedly authorized payments to the tune of 60,000 non-existent national service personnel and misappropriating public funds during his tenure between August 2021 and February 2025. And in a moment, we'll take you through the specific charges that have been leveled against these two individuals. And on your screens you see the charges. So for the executive director, he has been charged 14 counts, and it says count 1 is causing financial loss to the Republic, contrary to section 179A1 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29. Count 2, stealing, contrary to section 1241 of the Criminal Offences Act. Count 3 is stealing, contrary to section 124 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960. Count 4 is stealing, contrary to section 1241 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960. Count 5 is also a count of stealing. And again, it goes on to the other charges that have been leveled against him. Count 6 is also stealing, contrary to section 1241 of the Criminal Offences Act. Count 7 is also stealing. Count 8 is causing financial loss to the Republic, contrary to section 1791A of the Criminal Offences Act. Count 9, money laundering, contrary to section 12C of the Anti-Money Laundering Act 2020. Count 10, causing financial loss to the Republic, contrary to section 179A1 of the Criminal Offences Act. 11, causing financial loss to the Republic, and then count 12 would also then be causing financial loss to the Republic. 12 and 13 and 14 charges that he's been slapped with are largely just causing financial loss and stealing and money laundering. So we also know that the Gifty Oware is also in question as one of the persons who have been involved in the National Service Secretariat ghost name scandal, or the scandal that rocked the Secretariat. So in a jiffy, we'll take you through the charges that she has also been slapped with, and you'll see it on your screens in a moment. She is also being charged with the first count of stealing, contrary to section 1241. Count 2, same thing. Actually, count 2 is willfully causing financial loss to the Republic, contrary to section 179A. And count 3, willfully causing financial loss to the Republic. Count 4, using public office for profit, contrary to Section 179. Count 5, money laundering, contrary to Section 12A1 of the Money Laundering Act, and then the Anti-Money Laundering Act. And it tells you that the 3 key charges brought against them: money laundering, stealing, and causing financial loss to the state. So that's what came out in court today, and that's the details of what we have for you at the moment.
Also, lawyers for Professor Christopher Yakubu, the former board chair of the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund GIF, have withdrawn their services. This was disclosed by Justice Yakubu, presiding judge in the SkyTrain trial. Professor Yakubu and the former CEO of GIF, Solomon Asamoah, are facing multiple charges, including causing financial loss to the state for their roles in the botched Accra SkyTrain project.
When the case was called on Monday, October 13, Professor Yakubu notified the court that his lawyer would not be present. After being prodded by the judge, he indicated that there had been a misunderstanding between him and his counsel, a matter which he added that he was hopeful would be resolved soon. But Justice Audrey Yakubu indicated that the court had received a letter from the lawyers stating withdrawal of their services. The case was adjourned to Monday, October 20, after the PC Attorney General, Dr. Justice Remsai, indicated that the defense lawyers had filed an application which needed to be moved. At the last adjourned date, the defense lawyers moved a motion which would compel the prosecution to disclose documents they argued contained minutes of board and committee meetings, exculpatory material necessary to challenge the prosecution's claim that the investment lacked the required authorization.
That application was dismissed by the court. They have since filed an appeal and continued to file an application to stay proceedings pending that appeal. The case is back in court on Monday, October 20. Lord Rasari, TT News, Accra.
Right, let's go to Parliament now. The Speaker of the House, Alban Bagbin, has disclosed that he knows the Member of Parliament who voted to elect him as Speaker of the 8th Parliament. He has dismissed claims that former Domi Kwabena Member of Parliament, Sarah Adjosafo, secretly voted in his favor, stating that those allegations are false. Christian Yali reports.
The Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin's office, was busy on Monday when he received different delegations for different conversations throughout the day. The first was the family of the late Apostle Dr. Kwadwo Kantanka, led by his daughter, the former MP for Dom Kwabena, Sarah Adjosafo, who came to formally inform the Speaker about the passing and funeral arrangement for the late Ghanaian icon. During the engagement, the Speaker revisited a controversy and stated that it is never true on any day that Adjosafo voted him to become the Speaker of the 8th Parliament.
I called her my daughter because the time I used to come there, she was a small girl. So I started calling her my daughter before she joined politics and came to join me in Parliament. And she remained my daughter, but we belong to different political traditions. So because she's my daughter and we love each other, even when I was contesting to be Speaker, they thought she voted for me. I want to assure all of you that she didn't vote for me.
This led to a series of controversies in which even members of the New Patriotic Party described Adjosafo as a traitor for voting secretly in favor of NDC's Alban Bagbin.
That was a false accusation, and she suffered the consequences. She voted for the position of her party, not for me. I'm using this opportunity to dispel that decision because it's still hanging around and people are still using it against her. Because I know those who voted for me. I've been in this system for long. And I know the business of politics.
The family then went ahead to formally communicate to the Speaker about the passing of their beloved.
You were part of his family. You were his brother. And you even knew him before I entered Parliament. And so it's only proper that as a family we come and inform you. That's why we're here. And as you said, we're here to take directions, we're here to take instructions, we're here to take advice from you as the father that he left behind for us, so that we can all together plan a befitting burial and funeral for your brother.
Later in the day, a different delegation led by the MP for Gomoa Central, Kwame Asario, being A+, and other dignitaries from the Gomoa Ejumako traditional area paid a courtesy call on the Speaker to formally invite him to the launch of the Gomoa Industrial Park. Parliament is expected to resume on Tuesday, October 21st, 2025. Already, expectations are high for the presentation of the 2026 budget by the Minister for Finance, Christian Yale. TV3 News, Parliament.
And our President John Dramani Mahama has called on countries that share common values and interests to unite in the face of global trade challenges. His comments come after Ghana was hit with a 15% tariff on its export to the United States following a new trade order. In a bilateral meeting with Premier of the State Council of China, Li Qian, during his state visit to the People's Republic of China, President Mahama reiterated his concerns about the U.S. trade policies.
The world is changing rapidly after the Second World War. We all agreed that we would adopt a multilateral world order. Unfortunately, some countries have decided to act unilaterally, both in terms of their relationship with other countries, but also in terms of destroying the rules-based world trade order that we all had agreed to. And so countries are slapping tariffs unilaterally on other countries. My own country, Ghana, has not been spared. We've been slapped with 15% tariffs, but I'm sure that is far less than China has been slapped with. And so it's creating a lot of confusion and unpredictability in the whole world. But this is a time that countries that have shared values must stand together. And Ghana and China have had shared values. We have voted in international organizations on the same side. And so as the world becomes more unpredictable, there's a time that countries like Ghana and China and other willing partners that believe in multilateralism should stand even closer together. And we appreciate the work that China is doing in that regard. Let me congratulate China and to thank you for the support you continue to give to Africa through FOCAC and the Belt and Drive Initiative. These programs are opening up infrastructure that facilitate trade, especially Africa has adopted the African Continental Free Trade Area. And so it becomes important that we put in the infrastructure, the railways, the ports, the roads, to be able to exchange goods between African countries. And China has been one of the countries that has assisted in this regard.
Right, so from China, let's come back home to Ghana to some very unfortunate news that happened over the weekend. The Ghana Maritime Authority says that it will continue to intensify education on the Volta Lake to ensure passenger safety. This follows the death of 15 people in a boat accident near Ketekrachi in the Oti region. Deputy Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority, Mubarak Masaoud, tells TV3 that the authority will make its findings public after investigations are concluded.
The boat accident occurred around 1:30 p.m. on Saturday, October 11, near Ketekrachi in the Oti region. According to the Ghana Maritime Authority, preliminary investigations suggest the boat was overloaded, far exceeding its safe operational capacity. This is not the first time boat disasters have occurred on the Volta Lake, claiming lives. For Oti Regional Minister John Kweju Japong, the concern has to do with the refusal of some passengers to wear life jackets while traveling on the Volta Lake.
There shouldn't be more than 10 on the boat. It carried over 24 people. None of them were putting on a life jacket. A lot of life jackets are provided, but never do you see them use it. But the situation is that it is not like when you talk about the lake, people are maybe in the towns and then they go somewhere, do their fishing and then come back. No. Because of the intervention of the Akusumo Dam, there have been a lot of islands that have been created by the Volta Lake.
Deputy Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority, Mubarak Masawudu, insists enforcement of safety protocols will be intensified.
We would want to plead to the general public to all be custodians of safety on our inland waterways, political authority, our elders, and everyone should ensure that all these safety measures and protocols are observed.
On concerns about ensuring safety on islands on the Volta Lake, Mubarak Masawudu explained the authorities' inability to monitor activities on some of those islands.
Ghana Maritime Authority is present in almost every major landing site. You will find us. Now, when it comes to the very numerous island communities, you would agree with me that practically, really, you cannot put Ghana Maritime Authority staff in almost every community, especially the island communities, to be ensuring this. That is why it is very important that the public make our work easy for us. We are increasingly taking more people there to augment already the staff that we have. But really, what would really help all of us in this situation is the public adhering to the safety measures and protocols.
A specialized team, including maritime safety inspectors and personnel from the Navy Task Force in Dambai, has been dispatched to the scene. The GMA says it has launched a widespread enforcement campaign across Volta Lake to ensure compliance with safety protocols.
Right. Between 2023 and 2025, there have been about 6 boat incidents that have claimed dozens of lives, over 50 lives. Let's bring you the numbers so you see how serious this is. In March 2023, on the 27th to be precise, on the Oti River, canoe carrying 11 people capsized, 8 drowned and 3 survived. In May that year, on the Lake Volta, passenger boats struck a tree stump and capsized. 18 people were confirmed dead, while others are still missing. On September 14, 2023, on the Adan estuary, a related capsizing event in Adan claimed several people were reported missing there. The next day, on the Adan estuary again, but this time in the Greater Accra region, 2 fishing boats overturned near Adanfua, where 7 fishermen were reported missing. And then in June 2024, on the Oti River near the Dambai area, a service boat capsized on the river. Between 3 to 11 people were reported drowned and several rescued. They were lucky. And then the very current one on the Lake Volta, in Ketekrachi, in the Oti region, a passenger boat capsized between Okuma and Bovime, where 15 people were reported dead, including 11 children. Overloading and collision with submerged debris was the reason for that incident. And as you heard earlier, there is an investigation still ongoing to bring us more details on that unfortunate incident.
Let's go on to some other stories. Now, the pledge to construct a bridge over the Afram River between Adoso and Echi Amanfrom in the eastern region remains unfulfilled years after it was proposed. Stanley Niblu reports that as the delay drags on, livelihoods are being disrupted and lives endangered by a risky canoe voyage.
It's mid-morning at the Adoso ferry station. Commuters have gathered anxiously by the river bank, waiting for the ferry that connects the eastern region's Adoso to Echi Amanfrom in the Afram Plains South District. For decades, this ferry has been the only means of transport across the river Afram, a lifeline linking one of Ghana's most productive agricultural zones to markets in southern Ghana. But this lifeline has become a daily ordeal. When the ferry breaks down or delays, passengers are stranded for hours, sometimes days. That is the situation the news team met during our trip to Donko Krom. Passengers who have waited for close to 3 hours heaved a sigh of relief when the ferry finally arrived. Beyond the inconvenience, the absence of a bridge over the River Afram is slowing down the economic pulse of an entire region. The Afram Plains is one of Ghana's vital food baskets, supplying fish, maize, vegetables and other produce to urban markets across the country. However, transportation delays mean food items rot before reaching their destinations, depriving farmers of income and affecting market supplies in the south.
Our road is not good. It's very dusty. We have potholes, and when it rains, it's very difficult for the riders to move on the road, and it normally causes accidents.
The bad road she refers to is the Echiamam from Asiedu-Dartey Chrome stretch, a critical transport corridor, now in a deplorable condition. The pothole-ridden route has become a nightmare for commuters, extending travel times and exposing travelers to robbery attacks. President John Dramani Mahama, during the 2024 campaign, reiterated his pledge to construct a bridge over the Afram River, a promise first made by his predecessor, but never fulfilled. Residents say they are hopeful but cautious, having heard similar assurances in the past.
Commuters say the promise to construct a bridge over the Afram River is a necessity that must be redeemed.
District Chief Executive for Kwewu Afram Plains South, Moses Tangwe, however, says government is aware of the challenges and remains committed to improving transportation.
Parties that promise and pledge and do not deliver. And we have political parties that promise, they give a pledge and they deliver. I believe in President John Dramani Mahama. During the campaign visit to Afram Plains, North and South, it was a promise he made. He said it point blank that Afram Plains Bridge will be constructed.
While the assurance brings a glimmer of hope, the people of Afram Plains say time is running out. Each day lost to ferry delays, poor roads and safety risk comes at a cost of lives, livelihoods and the nation's food supply chain. Their call is simple but urgent. Build the bridge, fix the road and connect a region that holds the promise of food security for all. The people of Adosu and Echiamam are not just calling for convenience. They are demanding access to opportunity, safety and dignity. Clearly, the Afram Bridge project is more than a campaign promise. It is a national necessity that requires immediate action, not rhetoric. Stanley Niblew, TV3 News, Afram Plains South, Eastern Region.
Some residents of Agaveji, Salakope and other communities in the Ketu South municipality in the Volta region have started returning to the shoreline as the level of destruction of the sea has been brought under control. Joseph Armstrong reports a working visit to the affected areas by the Parliamentary Select Committee saw some physical works taking place with 3 groins contracted out of 37.
In July this year, President Mahama cut short for the commencement of the second phase of the Blehusu Edina Sea Defense Project, which has been abandoned since 2016. Over 10,000 residents along the coastline of over the years have lost their homes and livelihood to the tidal waves. Schools, clinics, cemeteries and markets within the fishing communities were also claimed by the tides. Fishermen and fishmongers had lost their livelihoods. Pupils had no school to attend, and there were no healthcare facilities in the affected areas. 3 months after commencement of the second phase, residents are beginning to return to the shoreline as the defense works has started reclaiming parts of the lost lands. A visit by the Parliamentary Select Committee on Works and Housing Monday morning revealed the level of the sea destruction has been brought under control. The executive director of the construction company expressed worry over the level of sand winning along the coast.
Here, in general, part of the erosion on Ghana coastline is natural, and some of it is man-made. 6 months ago, the water, the tidal waves were crossing all the way to the lagoon. We're crossing the road, blocking the road.
Chairman of the Select Committee called for the temporary resettlement structures for affected victims.
As part of corporate social responsibility, some of the structures that have been damaged we are urging the contractor to reconstruct the schools and looking at the serene environment. I think these lands here should be major prime land that should attract any investor.
The commencement of the defense work has sparked excitement and jubilation among residents who have been battered by the destructive tidal waves for years.
Let's turn our attention to health-related stories now. The Minister for Health, Kwabena Minta Akando, has announced that the government will clear all outstanding salary arrears owed to nurses and midwives by November. Speaking at a press conference amid growing agitation from nurses unions across the country, the minister revealed that the Ministry of Finance has received cabinet approval to release funds for the payment.
Thousands of health workers, including nurses, midwives, rotational nurses and allied health professionals, have for months been agitating, demanding payment for work done without pay. Responding to their concerns, Health Minister Kwabena Minta Akando explained that Cabinet has given the green light for the Ministry of Finance to begin payment starting in November.
We inherited a situation where about 13,500 nurses and midwives had been recruited and posted without financial clearance. As I speak to you, about 7,000 out of the 13,500 are being paid. They are on the payroll and they are being paid. That about 6,500, that will add up to the 7,000 already being paid, making 13,500. That allowance, that's over 6,000. Cabinet has approved that starting from November, the Minister for Finance must pay them.
He added that rotational nurses and allied health professionals who previously did not have clearance now do.
We had more than 17,000 rotational nurses, allied health professionals who also didn't have clearance as far as their rotation was concerned.
In other news this evening, Belakwa has hosted a special event aimed at raising awareness about mental health. The events featured a community health walk as well as free access to psychologists and mental health experts.
Belakwa has stepped beyond the bottle to promote mental well-being. At Healing Together Vigil 3.0 held in Accra, participants gathered for an interactive session with psychologists and mental health experts who educated the public on recognizing signs of stress, depression and anxiety. The head of commercial at Belakwa, Ruben Kodo, said as a brand, they believe in total wellness.
Belakwa is proud to play its part in shaping a healthier and more compassionate Ghana. Together, let us reaffirm our commitment to making wellness both physical and mental an integral part of everyday life in Ghana.
The head of marketing at Belakwa, Chris Ado Sarkodie, said the initiative also provided free health screenings and counseling sessions, ensuring participants left not only refreshed but informed about how to maintain both physical and mental balance.
Reached out to Ghanaians, they are here in their numbers in the name of mental health and giving Ghanaians the chance to discuss this that we don't often, make time to discuss, and then give them the advice as to handle it. So we have psychologists here, we have psychiatrists here. Of course, there are games that they are also going to engage in, but it's not just about the games. You are having fun and you're also getting advice as to how to manage your mental sanity.
A clinical psychologist, Seth Mausi, said mental health is not just about illness, it's about everyday well-being.
Your mental health is linked to your physical health. We always say that a healthy body is a healthy mind, and a healthy mind is a healthy body. If you take the molecule of motivation in the brain, we call dopamine, we notice that whenever you do something good, like there's a perception that you are moving, you are progressing, the brain releases dopamine to give you a motivation.
Mental health aspects encourage Ghanaians to be each other's keepers and create avenues for people to express themselves.
You're still watching News 360 on TV3. Stay with us. We have business, sports, entertainment all coming up.
Michael Obudu. Now, the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana says Ghana could nearly quadruple its revenue from cocoa if it halts the export of raw beans and invests in local processing. The call follows remarks by Vice President Professor Jane Nana Opoku Ajiman, who reaffirmed the government's commitment to transitioning from raw cocoa exports to building a value-added cocoa economy that empowers farmers and creates jobs.
Comes the news from Her Excellency the Vice President. Exporting value-added products to the global market will triple our export earnings, or maybe in 4 terms. But one of the key challenges we want the government to deliberately solve is access to raw materials to indigenous companies who are in the value addition sector of the cocoa area. It's one of the key challenges we are facing. We also need to see how we can make timely credit finance available to them, and also how we can reduce some bureaucracies, especially within the cocoa sector, to make sure that in terms of driving the local content, the indigenous companies who have a very competitive and develop some comparative advantages for them to be able to have a sustainability strategy in achieving government policy.
The Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, in collaboration with the National Security, has uncovered a major diesel diversion syndicate attempting to evade customs taxes estimated at about 2.3 million cedis. The interception, involving 10 filled trucks, forms part of ongoing efforts to clamp down on petroleum product smuggling that drain public revenue.
The operation by the Customs Preventive Unit of the Ghana Revenue Authority and National Security led to the interception of 10 trucks loaded with automotive gas oil, commonly known as diesel, totaling about 540,000 litres. Intelligence gathered revealed that the trucks, purportedly meant for export, had their tracking devices disengaged shortly after loading. The drivers then diverted the fuel under the cover of darkness, an act aimed at evading taxes.
Acting swiftly on intelligence, the Customs Preventive Unit, again working with the National Security operatives, intercepted the tankers or the trucks, the 10 of them, at Pong. The trucks have since been impounded and investigations are ongoing.
According to the Commissioner General, this illegal operation alone could have cost the state about 2.3 million cedis in taxes and levies. He says a forensic audit has since been launched into the activities of the oil marketing companies involved.
The GRA has also, in this respect, is about to commission further investigation into the operations of some of the OMCs that have been identified and individuals that have been found culpable of tax evasion in this manner, to ensure that we bring these activities under control or complete elimination.
The GRA says it is stepping up surveillance, enforcement and intelligence sharing with the National Petroleum Authority (NPA) and other agencies to ensure full compliance with tax and export regulations.
Telecel Ghana has reaffirmed its commitment to rewarding customer loyalty with the grand finale of its Too Much Money promo. One lucky subscriber walked away with a record-breaking grand prize of 1.2 million Ghana cedis after months of running the promo.
When Telecel Ghana launched the Too Much Money promo in June, it promised to double the excitement, and it delivered. With a record-breaking grand prize of 1.2 million Ghana cedis, the telecom giant raised the bar after last year's Telecel More Money campaign, which made Ellen Oparibia Akoi the first ever Telecel 1 million winner. This year's grand finale marked the high point of months of nationwide excitement, with thousands of subscribers winning daily and weekly prizes leading up to this moment. Director of Consumer Business at Telecel Ghana, Annette Muga, highlighted how the promo reflects the company's commitment to empowering customers and supporting communities.
We wanted to reward loyalty and making everyday usage more meaningful. In this promo, you were not supposed to pay any extra. There were no hidden costs. What we needed to do was just opt in. After, you were just allowed to do whatever you do in your daily network usage.
Marketing and Caritas Officer at the National Lottery Authority, Bright Ofori, advised the public to take part only in promotions duly approved by the authority.
If you should see any consumer promo on your television or on the radio running an ad, you should have backing of the National Lottery Authority's Caritas platform. Without that, just know that that promo is fraud.
The newly crowned millionaire Samuel Yao SL expressed gratitude to Telecel and encouraged Ghanaians to stay connected.
Telecel is not only interested in getting money from their customers, Telecel is also interested in improving the lives of their customers. And today I am a witness, a living testimony. I'm grateful to Telecel, and I know by this Telecel will grow and they will expand their market share.
The Too Much Money promo may have reached its grand conclusion, but for many winners across Ghana, it is just the beginning of new opportunities and brighter futures.
And that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. We bring you updates now from the currency and the commodities market.
good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360 with me, Oreku Ampofo. We start off from the Ghana Premier League, where Heart of Oak continue the unbeaten run in the league. However, the goal-scoring woes continue as Didi Dramani's men have scored just 2 goals in 5 matches with just 9 points. My colleague Murtala Yakubu was at the Accra Sports Stadium and put together this wrap of Match Day 5 in the Ghana Premier League.
It's a wrap of Match Day 5 in the Ghana Premier League, and we wrapped up beautifully here at the Accra Sports Stadium. Heart of Oak drawing goalless with Heart of Lions. What this means is that both teams are still unbeaten, but there's a big worry for Masoud Didi Dramani, the head coach of Heart of Oak, because his team lacked goals. They've played 5 games and scored only 2, which he says that he will fix before their next game against Brekum Chelsea. For Heart of Lions, this is a positive point, and they also remain unbeaten. 5 games in the Ghana Premier League, they've scored 6 goals, and a joy for Bashir Hayford, who believes that against Gold Stars they could chip in some few goals. We started our coverage on Friday where we had Mediema winning their game in a fine fashion against Dreams FC, and Asante Kotoko were held to a goalless draw on Saturday at the Dr. Kwame Chase Sports Complex at the Nations FC. So it's done and dusted, and we are moving on to Match Day 6, which will bring you some.
And so that was Murtala Yakubu with a wrap of Match Day 5 in the Ghana Premier League. To the national team, where the Black Stars earned their place at the next World Cup for a 5th time in their history after defeating Comoros in their final qualifier here at the Accra Sports Stadium on Sunday. Billy Shen, my colleague, has more in the following report.
The Accra Sports Stadium was filled to the rafters, with fans expecting a rosy end to the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. The Black Stars were up against Comoros, a side that had defeated the 4-time AFCON champions in 2 of their previous meetings. The first half produced some bright moments, but the scoreline remained goalless. That changed early in the second half when Mohamed Kudus tapped in Thomas Partey's low cross from close range. The Black Stars held firm afterwards, finishing the encounter with yet another clean sheet and a vital win that took their points tally to 25. Head coach Otuado was pleased with the team's performance.
I think we had a good game, and now we can maybe, for this little thing, we can use the word luck. The first 3-4 minutes they had a good chance, but they didn't score. But in all, I think we controlled the game. They came like I expected, and they're very, very dangerous. I think everybody saw that, especially when they have counterattacks, they're so really, really dangerous. But we managed well. We grew into the game. The solid defense, but also good midfield. I think up front we could have done a little bit more to create more chances.
Otuado, who faced intense criticism in 2024 after Ghana missed out on the AFCON, has now become the first Ghanaian coach to lead the national team to back-to-back World Cups, a feat he says is deeply meaningful.
For me personally, it's a big achievement, but for me, to be honest, I think more about us. So it's good for us, for everyone, every Ghanaian. It's good for the players, not only for me. So this is the most important thing. It's not in bad time, but also not in good time. It's not about me, it's about us, and it's about the team, and happy for the players. Some players haven't been there. It's a good opportunity, and so I'm very, very happy for everyone.
The final whistle sparked wild celebrations inside the Accra Sports Stadium, with fans chanting and waving flags, eager to back the team as they prepare for the global stage in North America.
Charlie, I make an excited pass, bro. We will go World Cup. You know our World Cup is a big tournament. So it be like some big opportunity to give the players, some of the local players, some of the players who they want to shine for World Cup. So Charlie, as a Ghanaian, I'm happy we are going to the World Cup. And I will be there. You will be there? I will be there.
Charlie, I'm excited, man. I'm really excited. Charlie, Ghana, we suffer. We suffer. So for God, my passport and since I make radio.
Almost USA is the best time to be a Ghanaian. We are going to the World Cup again. Wow. It's just pure football and nothing else. Some people think we are going to the US and we won't come back. We want to go watch football and come back. Ghanaians love football. It's all about football, and that's where we are going.
I feel good.
Are Are you going to the USA with the Black Stars?
Oh my goodness, why won't I be there? So happy. I'm so excited. I'm happy for Ghana.
I feel very excited. I mean, today is my first time coming to the stadium, and then Black Star winning. I'm so excited.
Of course, the draw will be happening in December, but until then, it's a party time here at the Accra Sports Stadium. Bilishan for 3 Sports here at the Accra Sports Stadium.
All excitements throughout the country in the past 24 hours as the team have secured qualification to the next World Cup. You can get some more updates on our social media handles at 3 Sports. GH, my name is Oreko Ampofo, and after the break is entertainment with Noella Donko.
The entertainment news segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko. Now, the Ashanti region last claimed the GMB crown in 2020 led by Queen Safwa. Now, 5 years on, the 2025 representative, Sika, believes that it's time for the crown to come home. Now, she is confident that the crown is heading back to the Ashanti as she plans to make it happen this Sunday. Sika shared her hopes and strategy with Naftali Bar.
Hey, Akwaba is how my people welcome you.
GMB is not all about beauty, the outward side of it, or working very well, or what people think beauty pageant is about. GMB goes beyond that. It has to do with impacting your communities and making people feel the impact around you.
She is bold, intelligent, and fiercely self-motivated. Sika's journey on Ghana's Most Beautiful has been nothing short of thrilling and spectacular.
From week one, like I said, this whole thing was new to me. I didn't really think of myself as someone who could be all dramatic on stage, and I am more of a presentation type of person and more of like a formal type of person. And so having to go out of my comfort zone to have to say things for it to make sense, but in a more dramatic way or in a different angle, that isn't me at all. But GMB has brought that side of me. That means I had it in me, but I was just not ready to nurture it, but GMB has brought it out of me, and I'm really grateful.
At just 24, she has grown show after show, captivating audiences nationwide with her breathtaking showmanship.
From week 1, week 2, week 3, all that I see is transformation. It's been really different. I see myself from week 1, how different I am now in terms of even public speaking, confidence, and having to think on the spot, having to GMB has done a lot for me, honestly.
The Ashanti region last won the prestigious GMB crown in 2020 with Queen Safwa. 5 years later, reaching the 2025 grand finale is already a remarkable achievement. But for this proud daughter of Kumasi, the mission isn't over until the crown returns home. With unshakable spirit and determination, Sika says she's ready to step up her game at the final showdown.
That is the reason we are all here, ultimately to win the crown. So I am no different from my other sisters. I'm also here to win the crown. On Sunday, God willing, I'm going to walk on that stage with passion, with fire, and with faith in God. So that is the best I can do. Then God's will now be done. When I think of all these, I just want to do more. I want to do more because I know other people too are investing more in me just so I get these and more.
She's also passionate about using the GMB platform to make a lasting positive impact on society. Sika is calling on fans to rally behind her, vote massively, and help turn her dream of becoming queen into reality.
Please don't forget that our project revolves around child safety. This time around, with our focus being on children who involve themselves in illegal mining. This is a social canker. It is a national issue, and all of us have to join forces to be able to stop this or do something about this. So kindly vote for Sika to be able to bring the crown to Ashanti region and actualize this dream.
And that's it for the entertainment news segment here on News360. My name is Noella Donko.
And that's it for our package. Thank you so much for watching. I am Martin Asiedu-Dartey.
And I am Ayisha Yakubu. Good night.